I'm out in the shed now as I'm waiting for new points and condenser to arrive for the engine, so I thought I'd start prepping the frame. I'm going to take the airbox out and check that over. It will need restoring in its own right, but for the time being I just want to make sure there's nothing living in there. The other thing I want to do, or start doing tonight, is loosely hanging the electrics over it, because in order to get the engine to run I'd like the electrics to be in place or when the engine's ready. So I'm going to start tonight by doing this and then loosely draping the wiring loom in its right locations. I had hoped I could get away without taking this off, but I'm going to have to do that. Oh, I don't know when this last came off. Be a bit careful because I have a feeling it might be a bit fragile. Feels like a metal band that goes right round it, but I can't seem to get any movement on it. Maybe it's just seized in place. I'm going to break something in a second. With that badly seized on. It's only been 40 years. Right, I'm going to chew something up if I'm not careful. I can see what I'm doing now. It's like the rubber is actually bonded to this airbox. Kind of walk it away. I don't think this has been off in a little while. Come on. Oh, there you go. Lovely. Ooh. Well, it doesn't look like anything's living in it. And actually this rubber feels okay. So we might be able to reuse that. And there we go. The air filter's actually in it, which is nice to see. It's the sort of thing that would go missing over time. Right, I've taken the nuts out, so let's see. Come on. Blimey. Seized. Come on, give it up. Come on. It's the rubber, I think. The rubber gasket is sealed. There we go. No critters. That's good. And the gauze itself is looking a bit rusty, but I think I would too after 40 years of inactivity. And this itself should dismantle as well, which is good. So all this can be taken off and cleaned, and then used for the rerun. Okay, this is the current state of the wiring loom. It looks awful, but in fact it's actually very clean. All the bullet connectors, all the bullet connectors look very clean. All the parts seem to be there, except for the ignition switch, which is missing. So there's every reason to believe that this should be a working wiring loom. So I'm going to drape it over the bike and find its rough areas of attachment, and then I'll take it from there. I've spent half an hour kind of joining up the dots as best as I could. Obviously there are earths, some of this is headlight stuff, but a lot of the wiring loom that I dragged forward connected with the stuff attached to the handlebars, and a lot of it was colour to colour, although I will check the wiring diagram before I continue. The rest of the loom's loosely draped on. We have around the back here what I believe is the ignition switch cables, not very secure, very easy to hotwire. These I'm not sure, but I think they go to the coil. They're in about the right place for the coil, so that's something again to check on the wiring diagrams. Black and light blue. Further back we have got the main negative earth strap, and then around this side we've got the positive power strap. I've got the rear brake light switch. Here we have the flasher unit. Hanging over this side at the moment, I'm not quite sure where this goes yet, but this is the rectifier. Hopefully that still works. Then we've got a connector here which goes down to the engine as far as I can tell. That's the one that connects to the magneto. And then moving back we have got cables for the left and right indicator, although one of the jumper cables, it's a weird thing, I've not seen this before, but then I don't have a lot of experience. We've got an orange cable coming here, which is one of the indicator cables, which goes to a grey jumper cable which runs back here, and you can tell it attaches to the orange because it has these little handy orange tags on, and eventually that would plug, get that green wire, that's for the rear tail lamp jumper, but that will plug into an indicator. The blue one I can't find, so unless it's lurking somewhere else, I've had a bit of a look, I can't find it. We might have to make up a cable for that. Then we've got the rear brake light, excuse the lighting, it's terrible. Rear brake light, rear earth cable, and again another stop lamp, I believe. So yeah, so I think we have most of the cables we need. Missing the ignition switch, which I've got on order, but we can probably bypass that. The headlight bits and pieces and a few little cables, like for example I have this white cable with a yellow trace on it, which I think goes to this white cable which has this yellow backing on the sleeve, but that's one of the parts I have to check, so I'm not sure. All the handlebar wiring was already left in place because it goes through the actual bars. So yeah, so a bit of research to do, a bit of cleaning up of the airbox, which I won't do tonight, and I also found the toolbox which bolts underneath the airbox. So as far as I can tell, we're mostly complete. We've got boxes of bits like the tail light down here. This is a particularly rusty part, which is the chain guard. I don't think that's salvageable in as a chrome finish, but we could always paint that, possibly in the same colour the engine cases are in, or maybe black. Badly painted side case. So yeah, all the bits and pieces are in there, they're just in bad condition. Got the number plate back there. I've got a replacement, brand new reproduction front mud guard for it. The back mud guard is painted black, so we're not sure what we're going to do with that yet. So yeah, I mean, oh, and headlight over there, and headlight bowl, which you can see the original colour, that nice metallic blue, and then the black that it was painted afterwards. Well, I'm not so happy with that. But it would have been nice if they'd have left it in that. Even in a rusty patina it would have looked fantastic. But never mind, we can't do anything about that now. So I'm still choosing colour schemes. The tank is still over there, full of oil and petrol. I'll give that a swish before I go to bed. And I'm thinking possibly of painting this with a black frame, so redoing what's been badly done, with a yellow and white tank, yellow and white side panels. The rear fender, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. It may even be chrome under there, so it might be worth trying to strip that back. What else? Shocks, I think they're probably going to be shot to pieces, but if I can salvage them I will. But possibly if I can salvage them, these will end up matching the yellow tank. And again, these would be nice, these covers, if they match the tank. But at the moment it's just a dream. We've got to get the engine running and see where we are with that. Nothing else much to talk about really. There's the XL, still waiting for stuff to happen. Still waiting for spring so I can paint the tanks. Still waiting to do the seat, but we may have some progress on that soon. But yeah, we're getting there.